Recently, as the conflict between Israel and Iran has intensified, there is a sudden rumor on the internet that the Pakistani Air Force may assist Iran in intercepting Israeli missiles, and may even allow Chinese-made J-10C fighters carrying F-15 missiles to engage in an aerial showdown with Israel's F-35s. It may sound like the plot of a military novel, however the reality of the situation is far from simple. Although Pakistan and Iran are neighbors and maintain friendly relations on the surface, the complex background and deep contradictions between the two countries make it worth pondering whether they can really join forces against Israel. The most representative example of this is the January 2024 mutual slap incident, which best reveals the real relationship between the two countries. On January 16, 2024, Iran suddenly launched a missile attack on the Pakistani province of Balochistan, which was officially said to be a strike against terrorists, but ended up mistakenly bombing civilians. Pakistan, of course, couldn't take the blow, and the next 2 days, they sent warplanes across the border to bomb armed camps in Iran's Sistan province. The move attracted global attention, especially as the Chinese-made J-10C fighter jets made their first appearance in real combat and became the center of media attention. Interestingly, on the same day, the navies of the two countries also conducted a joint military exercise in the Strait of Hormuz. During the day, the two militaries were still shaking hands, but at night a conflict broke out, showing the fragility and complexity of the relationship between the two countries. An even deeper conflict stems from religious differences, with Pakistan being an 85% Sunni state, and Iran being Shiite to the core. Clerics from both countries have been trading insults across the border, and the religious conflict has been heating up, becoming a never-ending pitfall between the two countries. The 900-kilometer-long borderline has become a powder keg. Baloch separatist organizations frequently cross the border, and Iran accuses Pakistan of sheltering the Jaish-e-Mohammed, while Pakistan bites back at Iran for supporting the Balochistan Liberation Army. This atmosphere of mutual suspicion makes it difficult to imagine the Pakistani Air Force flying into Iranian airspace to assist Iran in its fight against Israel. After all, Iran's air defense system is not to be underestimated, and the Pakistani Air Force may encounter serious counterattacks if it tries to attack Iran. What makes Pakistan more upset is Iran's black history of taking sides. Whenever the Indo-Pakistani conflict breaks out, Iran always quietly support India. The two sides in the military exercises, energy cooperation and other areas have close contact. 2025 May, the Pakistani Air Force in Kashmir downed the Indian Rafale fighter, and in the same month, Iran's supreme leader, Khamenei, but the social media to Pakistan, to show good. This kind of last-minute behavior has certainly made Islamabad suspicious of Iran's sincerity. Is it possible that Iran's move was made in favor of Pakistan's Air Force? Nevertheless, the Pakistani Air Force does have a war power that should not be underestimated, especially in the use of J-10C fighters. This aircraft is capable of carrying F-15 missiles with a range of up to 200 kilometers, and in May 2025, it just successfully shot down an Indian Rafale in the India-Pakistan Air War. In addition, the Pakistani Air Force's Dragon Block II is also capable of mounting F-15 missiles, which, together with the Chinese-made ZDK-03 AWACS, could indeed enable it to engage in over-the-horizon air combat against Israeli air power. However, despite Pakistan's advanced warplanes and missiles, this equipment is not freely available for use in combat. Even more problematic are the 75 US-made F-16s in Pakistan's hands. In January 2024, when Pakistan planned an air attack on Iran, these F-16s could not be deployed at all. Because the US has strict control over the supply of parts for F-16s, Pakistan may encounter US sanctions if it ventures to use these fighters, paralyzing the entire fighter system. Today, if Pakistan wants to rely on F-16 to help Iran against Israel, the United States may be the first to cut off the GPS signals of these fighters, so that they can only be used for counter-terrorism or homeland defense. Cross-border combat is almost impossible to achieve. Even with some technological advantages, Pakistan still faces a huge challenge. Israel's F-35s are equipped with advanced stealth technology, and it remains doubtful whether Pakistan's AWACS can lock onto their targets from 300 kilometers away. The lesson remains starkly clear that when Iran was hit by an airstrike in October 2024, its aging air defense system failed to detect even the shadow of the F-35s. Whether Pakistan would dare to risk committing its most powerful fighters against Israel's stealth fighters remains a big question. Despite its vocal condemnation of Israel, and even dragging 20 ambassadors to the Jenin refugee camp in May 2025 to express its concern, Pakistan's real decision-making is in fact not based on morality, but on national interest. Pakistan relies on imported natural gas for 40% of its electricity, and Iran has the second-largest natural gas reserves in the world. Pakistan has been waiting for a decade for a gas pipeline deal with Iran, and if the valve is opened, Pakistan will be able to save $5 billion a year on energy imports, which is more important than any religious brotherhood. In addition, border security is also an issue of great importance to Pakistan. Baloch separatist organizations, which have frequently attacked oil tankers along the China-Pakistan economic corridor, may have the support of India and Israel behind them. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, on the other hand, has promised a joint purge of these separatists in early 2025, which is nothing short of timely. If Pakistan can use air deterrence in exchange for support from Iranian ground forces, the deal is certainly a bargain for Islamabad. However, Saudi Arabia and the US are always watching Pakistan from behind. The Saudi Crown Prince publicly stated in February 2025 that a Palestinian state would never be allowed to be established on Saudi territory, apparently reminding Pakistan not to get too close to Iran. The US has been more direct, threatening the Pentagon to cut off IMF loans if Pakistan continues to provide military aid to Iran. Pakistan's foreign exchange reserves, already down to $9 billion, cannot afford such pressure. Therefore, Pakistan recently signed 8 cooperation agreements, including production lines of drones, air defense missiles assembly projects, but for the provision of combat aircraft assistance, but always silent, obviously nowhere there. Red line. In the final analysis, the relationship between Pakistan and Iran, like the barbed wire on the border, seems to be connected. In fact, each firmly guard their own positions. Although the air showdown between the J-10C and the F-35 is full of drama, the reality of international politics never follows the formula of cool writing. Pakistan may be able to help Iran deal with air defense loopholes by providing early warning aircraft, or, inadvertently, leaking Israel's electronic warfare frequency, but in critical moments, cooperation between countries is more based on interests than ideals. In the complex game of chess in the Middle East, no one wants to be cannon fodder for others.